This is the IBM 8512, which is one of IBM's first VGA monitors, also released in 1987. Clearly by the logo you can see here it is truly an IBM product, and to further prove the veracity of its authenticity, it has the IBM weight as well, because it's fucking heavy. I got this monitor on eBay specifically for use with my IBM AT for various reasons I'll get to later. I won't really use it on any other computer. Mainly because I don't like moving around things that are so old. Also, it has a few limitations when you're using it with slightly newer computers. I found a PC Mag article reviewing various monitors around that time period, in fact a year after this monitor was reviewed, and they gave the 8512 a rather scathing review about its coarse dot pitch and dull colors. However, the 8512 is a monitor designed more for basic business use such as text editing and all that. They were comparing this monitor to many other things that are much more expensive and had various digital inputs. This was back before Windows 3.1 or 3.0, so you'd be more likely to use a text mode editor or program of some sort using DOS. In standard IBM fashion, on the side you have a big red power switch, although it's a push switch, not like a flip switch you would see on the computers. And then on the back you have an integrated power and VGA cable, so you can't really replace those very easily if one of them gets damaged. And as you can see, this specific monitor was manufactured in August 1991, so it's a little bit late to the party. And on the other side you have your limited controls, only a brightness and a contrast. There are other controls that are internal and require disassembly, but that can be a real big pain in the butt. From what I understand, the casing has many plastic clips, also requires a security Torx that is very long and very thin. And for this reason I've never disassembled mine, even though I could probably make a few adjustments to it. For the sake of comparison, I'll be using my 486 to drive the monitor instead, so that we could use Windows at 640 by 480, which is the maximum resolution for this display. That way I can use my other monitor and show what the limitations are with this monitor when running at full resolution as far as the dot pitch goes. So this is my MGC monitor, which I normally use with this computer. I got Windows 3.1 running in 800 by 600 with my nice Osric Tentacles wallpaper. Strangitude! I wasn't sure what kind of bit depth the monitor supported as far as colors, so I just set it to 8-bit color, just to make sure I don't fry anything. Oh, my poor wallpaper. My first comparison will be Tetris for Windows and the Microsoft Entertainment packs. Since my phone doesn't have any fine-tuned controls for the video capture, I'm going to have to take some photos instead to show off the picture quality. I'm not sure what the exact dot pitch is for this monitor, since I couldn't really find any documentation about it online. However, I know for a fact that it does have a smaller dot pitch than the IBM monitor, so you'll see a higher resolution. Now if we switch over to the IBM monitor here, you can definitely tell that there's an increase of graininess due to the higher dot pitch, more pixely. Now that's not really too big of a problem if you're just playing games like Tetris for Windows, however it becomes a problem when you're trying to read small text, such as using WordPad or Notepad or something like that, where the text is noticeably smaller on Windows than it would be in a DOS prompt or text mode. Also right here in this very image you can sort of see what I meant when I could probably make a few adjustments to the picture. As you can see, it's a little bit rotated, it's a little bit closer to the top on the right side than it is on the left. And that's not actually a camera trick. Sometimes you can take a picture of a CRT monitor at a certain angle and it looks kind of funny, but that's actually how it is. So this is on my MGC monitor. We're looking at smaller Windows text. As you can see with the higher resolution, you can definitely tell what everything is supposed to be and you can read it clearly. This is where the IBM monitor starts to fall when you're running at a maximum resolution at 640 by 480 and you're trying to read small text or small objects. things get a little bit blocky. If you zoom in a little bit, it even gets worse. But of course, unless you're doing graphical design at the time or anything graphically intensive, you're not going to be running into these situations since Windows 3.1 didn't release for another good, say, 6 years after this monitor was released. But that's not to say that text mode is perfect. If you look at it up close, of course it's going to get a little bit blocky. However, there is enough resolution for the low resolution graphics in text mode to easily distinguish between all the characters and not give you a googly-eyed headache. But nowadays we're not going to be mainly using these monitors and computers for office work and text editing. We're going to be playing video games on them mainly. And for lower resolutions such as 320 by 200, it works pretty well. As much as PC Mag shat on the colors of this monitor, they're actually pretty bright and vibrant, especially for monitors around the time, around Windows 95 and below. Usually they're a little bit more washed out than this thing is. So if you were looking into a monitor sort of like this, I would only recommend it for something like a 386 or slower, because as soon as you start getting to 486, you're getting up near that 640 by 480 resolution, or maybe even higher. But when you're playing video games at 320 by 200, it's just about the right amount of resolution for these games. It's almost kind of like playing an old video game console on an old TV, an old CRT TV. It's just about the right amount of resolution. Makes it look sharp.